All right, so let's continue on, and this is the other part of the trolley problem from Judith Jarvis Thompson. So there are two readings from Thompson. This is the second one, and that's what we're going to be going over. Now, the cool thing about this article, Thompson had written on the trolley problem way back in 1985 when she introduced the fat man objection. Um, and so that's how philosophy research goes. It's similar to science research. People think of a thought experiments to confirm or disconfirm theories. Uh, Now, much later, from 1985, so about over 20 years later, in 2008, Thompson, a professor at MIT, had a graduate student that pushed her to think more about trolley problems. And so she talks about that in the first couple of pages. I thought that was pretty cool. Uh, and she started thinking of some new scenarios that pushed our thinking in new directions. So let's talk about those. Um, Now, first thing to think of, first thing is uh, looking at the handout is, oh yeah, make sure you get handout 2.2 out. She introduced, so there's no bystanders two options. What is bystanders two options? That's the original trolley problem case where you can either do nothing and let the trolley hit a five, or pull a switch and let the trolley hit one person, or cause the trolley to hit one person. Now, Thompson introduced a new case, which she calls bystanders three options. And again, that's the next thing on the handout on page, and it's discussed on page 425. And uh, we're going to talk about the options in that case. So here's my picture, um, and you'll see that. Okay, there's a trolley coming downward. It's headed toward the five. If you push it to the right, it'll hit one person instead. Now, this new wrinkle is if you push it to the left, it'll hit you instead. Okay, you're A and the other person's B, and then there's the five. So it's headed toward five. If you push it one way, it'll go to B. If you push it the other way, it'll go to A. All right. So those are your three options. And so that blank there, throw the switch to the left, killing yourself. That's going to be the other option. Uh, I guess in Thompson's version, it's killing himself, where letter A is a him. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now what does Charlie want to say about this case? Um, she asks, suppose you do have this option of killing yourself. Should we still think, as many people do originally, that it's okay to kill B rather than A? And she says, no. If you have the option of killing yourself to save the five, um, well, now it would be wrong to kill B. Now that's really interesting. I have to admit, most of the articles I teach in class, I've read and learned before. This is actually my first time reading this article. I read it in the just recently, and this is the first time I've ever taught this article by Thompson. And I actually had to just walk around and think about it and mull over it. So, I hope you can earn a position where you can take walks and really mull over how to think about this. Now, what's Thompson's support going to be for this? And that's basically what she calls her first principle. A must not kill B to save five if he can save himself kill himself to save the five. So you're not allowed killing B to save the five if you can still kill yourself. Okay. Now, what's your support for that? Well, her support for that is going to be an example that 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 appeals to giving to charity. So this is going to be on page 426. Okay, and she examines this sort of case. So this is her support. You have money to give to Oxfam, which is a world charity organization. Peter Singer would be very proud of this. You have money to give it to an organization that could save lives. Okay, but instead of using your own, you steal it from someone else and give it to charity. And as soon as you hear that, you should be like, "Oh, that's messed up." You're if you have your own money to give, it's not right to take somebody else's money to give to the charity. Now, that's how Thompson is going to support her first principle. It's just that instead of stealing money from someone else, you're going to be stealing their life, right? So, in the same way that it's wrong to take somebody's money to give to charity to do a good, it's wrong to kill someone in order to do a good. That is, save 5 lives. Okay, so that's the case. Now, do you agree with her verdict about that case? Do you think it supports the first principle? Well, that's something I would love to discuss with you guys if we were in class. Whether that actually the charity case is in fact like her options case. Uh, that is the bystanders 3 options case. So anyway, that's your point. That's what she thinks, and it seems to be supported by the charity case. Uh, Okay, now based on that, Thompson then tries to defend a second principle. And the second principle goes like this. I'm just going along in the handout. A may let 5 die if the only permissible means he has of saving them is killing himself. So the new scenario that Thompson is thinking about is this. Um, Suppose there is no B, and then this is your only case. Okay. Is it permissible for you to not pull the switch and let the 5 die? Is it permissible for you to do that? And it certainly seems so, Thompson thinks. I mean, it would be very heroic of you. It'd be very admirable of you. Um, you might even think, a person who would do that, you would hope they would have more courage. But if they're not acting in a morally wrong way, if you decide to not pull the switch to save your own life, and then you end up letting 5 die. Okay, so that's what the second principle is. A may let 5 die if the only permissible means he has of saving them is killing himself. All right, now again, that's what Thompson thinks. Do you agree? Does that make sense to you? Now it's important to remember it's valuable to always take a step back and think, well, maybe not. I mean, maybe you are obligated to save 5 lives at the cost of one, but that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. But yeah, I'm sure Peter Singer would love it. I'm sure utilitarians would love that conclusion. But it seems to push us in towards difficult ethical principles. So, but that's Thompson's view, the second principle, and next we'll look at her next argument.